first. Y'all know I spoke about Umar Johnson recently, and I spoke about the stepdaddyism culture. Stepdaddy culture is very prevalent, and you had another prominent black male voice speak negatively on men who decide not to have relationships with single mothers. They choose not to, right? It's a choice. Just like it was a choice for Boyce Watkins to date a woman who curved him years before, when she's older and her dating options aren't very good in her eyes, right? And you do this awkward proposal, and you've been getting clowned for it ever since. I just want y'all to understand the type of males that we have. You know, it's always these gray bearded older men that give the worst advice, when they should be out here talking to black men and telling them, listen, you know, avoid these mistakes and pitfalls. No, boys, what you're basically telling them is to get curved like you. And years later, when that woman is older, then you put a ring on her finger. You know, you done worked hard all these years to build your own platform, to build financial success. And what do? You go back to the woman that didn't want you. You see, I don't want to date no woman that curved me in her prime. Okay, a woman in her prime, she curves me. I want nothing to do with her. Let the streets have her, right? But again, a lot of you guys are fighting for love that don't want you back. I've seen their interactions. Look at the proposal. Look at her body language. Boys, why are you, as an older black man, why are you shaming black men who don't have children? Black men who should be focusing on their financial future. Why should they go and have to worry about trying to be a stepdaddy to children that aren't theirs? I don't understand this. You should be telling young men the pitfalls and the things to avoid. You should tell them to live their life, to travel. Because he wasn't talking about men his age. Boyce Watkins was talking about younger men. He wasn't talking about men his age. That's why I take exception to his shaming. And I saw a video from O'Shea. Shout out to O'Shea. I saw the video, and I saw what Boyce Watkins, because I got to tell you, I haven't watched Boyce Watkins in like a year. I haven't watched Boyce Watkins content in probably over a year. Over a year, probably, yeah, about over a year since I watched any video or live stream from his platform. I think it's been about that long. Yeah. And the first time, and you know, I see what he's saying. He wants to shame younger men, because let's be clear, he wasn't talking about men his age. He's not talking about men who've been divorced numerous times, who have, you know, teenage to adult children. He's not talking about those men. He's talking about the younger men, because you got to understand, the one thing that Andrew Tate has exposed is that there is a foot race to try to claim the minds of younger men, because you see, women have already been conquered. Okay, women have already been programmed and subjugated. It's the men that they don't have control over yet, and they're trying to. And they have these males who get on social media and say some of the most ridiculous things in order to push their agenda. And I'm seeing what this guy is saying. What's up, Brian? Make sure y'all like the stream too. Let's get the likes up, please. And I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? Do you see how broken a lot of younger men are, because they don't have real father figures in their life, because their mother would go from man to man to man, not good men, trash men. A lot of you heifers choose the wrong men, and then you have these males that want to speak up for you. No, she should have chose better when she had the chance. I'm sorry. Why does she have multiple baby daddies? Why? They want us to, and I said it, you know, with Umar, they want us to fix the mistakes that these women have made. I'm sorry, I'm not fixing none of their mistakes. If I chose to not have children in my 20s and 30s, and I chose to work hard and and travel and live life, I'm not going to sit here and waste my time trying to be no stepdaddy. But see, you got these quote unquote prominent black male voices that are some of the biggest suckers for these women. You know, these women, when they get older, they play games with you. And Boyce allowed his now, I guess his wife, right, to play games with him. And, you know, when nobody was really checking for her like that, what does she do? She goes to Boyce. What's good, Bella? Shout out to Bella, man. I want a lot of you young black men to understand you have choices. Use those choices wisely. Do not listen to these males who are suckers for love, and they've allowed love to manipulate them and use them to make a fool out of them, because that's what happened here. Guys like Boyce Watkins should be giving the right type of advice. You know, a lot of these men, like a Umar, like a Boyce and others, they claim that they speak for everybody. No, you're speaking for women, bro. You don't speak for men. What you're saying does not help men, because I'm telling you right now, he was not talking about men his age. He's talking about men who are younger, who don't have children. They want those men to put their life on hold to raise somebody else's children. Listen, there have been a lot of people who probably had stepfathers in their life or stepmothers, right? But times have changed. Times have really changed. And because times have really changed, I just don't think it's a good idea to be trying to save these women from themselves. They made their choice, boys. They made their choice to go out here and choose the wrong men, the bad boys, right? Why so many women exes are in and out of jail? Why so many of these women exes have all these baby mamas? Why are they choosing dysfunctional men? When you talk to women, why don't you hear good things about their exes? You don't hear nothing good about their exes, because they're choosing dysfunctional men, boys. They're choosing dysfunctional, weird men to be in relationships with, to bring their children around these men. They'll push the biological father out of those children's lives just to put the new guy, because they're obsessed and they're addicted to newness. Men, you know, you got men who can't even be fathers to their children because of these heifers that y'all trying to protect. You're trying to save people from themselves. I refuse to be a part of that. I'm not gonna give these young men bad advice like y'all giving. Y'all can try to shame red pill men, MGTOW, but at the end of the day, it's about men prioritizing themselves, because we've had decades, generations of men being run into the ground. You know, people love to talk about men dying before their wives. You know why that happens? Because those men have worked themselves into the ground to provide for their families. That causes a lot of stress on them. They're not happy. You got a lot of men who are in loveless marriages. That's why. But you know, when you got older men out here who are living their life and they're traveling, doing whatever, they're very happy. They're not miserable. There's a lot of miserable married men, self-deprecating. They want to say that, you know, men who are single and alone, you know, it's going to come a time when they don't have anybody. You know why they don't have anybody? Because they've pushed all the people out of their lives for the women that they date. The women that they have dated have isolated them from their families. I think Boyce has to understand that this is 2023, bro. This ain't the 50s. This ain't the 60s. These women have really become monsters. They're obsessed with attention. They're obsessed with getting as much attention from as many different men as possible, to the point to where they will get on OnlyFans when they really don't have to. but it's because that thirst for wanting to feel attractive and feel wanted, boys. And again, this all ties into the topic of the live stream. I just want y'all to understand that there are people out here giving horrible advice, not just women, because, you know, I've said women out here giving horrible advice. You got men as well that are giving horrible advice. They are helping to ruin the lives of younger black men. That's what's going on. And we need to stop listening to people who do not benefit our happiness, you know.